schools' percentages. In some cases, we have schools at 34% capacity. And so those are all the things that the task force had to take into consideration when we were looking at this whole district. All right, now, we do want to celebrate some things because through the hard work of our hardworking teachers, administrators, and staff, we have had some strong gains. Don't know if you know this, so we have to celebrate that too, because we have to take everything into consideration. One of the things that we get measured by is what we call CCMR, and it's College Career Military Readiness. It's one of the indicators that TDA holds us accountable to. The other one is that we're going to look at is high school start and of course. Let's start off with the CCMR, or what we call College Career Military Readiness Indicators. Very clearly, you can see over a 3-year span, the increases that our hardworking teachers, staff, principals, assistant principals, instructional coaches have done to move the academic needle. You can see by 2024, we're predicting to have our 3 high schools to be close to 91, 88, and 91%. Great work. Those numbers are very strong, and those are strong growth numbers. Very proud of them. Here's, and of course, 3-year numbers. Over 3 years. We have them for Algebra 1, English 1, English 2, you'll see biology, and you'll see U.S. history. And when you look at those numbers, you'll see the steady increases that are happening pervasively across the whole district, where more and more kids are now passing the assessments. So we are showing some great gains, and again, that is through the hard work of our hardworking teachers, our administrators, instructional coaches. A lot of hard work that goes into it, a lot of dedication to our kids, and the results speak for themselves. We are making gains. We're not there yet, but we're coming. All right, the other thing that we have to consider, structures. How are our schools put together? And so the task force was given information, and here you have a slide that pretty much gives you a summary of all the different configurations that we offer in this district. In our proud district, we have early Head Start, 6 months to 3-year-olds. We have early childhood campuses for 3 and 4-year-olds. Another program is elementary campuses where you have pre-K second, kinder through second, third through fifth, so you have different configurations. So they were able to look at all these and which schools have these configurations and consider. We also have the single gender campuses. We have a boys' school and a girls' school. And so we were looking at all the programs relative to the district and where they're located. Now, I'm going to pass this to Dr. Miller Baker to kind of walk you through this piece of the presentation.
Thank you. Good evening. So our task force was provided with an abundance of information and needed a system for storing that information and using it to help to start the conversations for recommendations. And we did this by looking at a different topic each of the 4 nights and having guiding questions. So what we asked our group to look at was how can we offer the best educational experience knowing that we are in a competitive landscape and that we would need to be able to compete. We wanted to know how can we maximize the potential of a campus. If the enrollment is low, what else could we possibly do? We wanted to know how could we maybe look at some of our resources and consolidate so that we were serving students in the best way possible. And then finally, we wanted to look at schools as community assets. And if a school was not going to serve our community as a school, how else could it be repurposed to best serve our community and to ask our community what they would like to see? So we looked at our improvements needed, we looked at our challenges we were facing, and we looked for recommendations for redesigning the district to ensure that we will be sustained and that we will continue to flourish in the future. During these conversations, topics came up that needed to be addressed and needed to be part of the dialogue. First of all, the task force felt strongly that we had to ensure that we had safe environments for the children, for the teachers, for the community. That had to be the highest priority. We needed to look at our high ongoing programs and see how we can maximize those and how we could rethink programs for low enrollment campuses. We knew that transportation would be something we would have to address in any type of redesign. And we knew that we needed to act quickly and decisively in order to hire, but most importantly to retain all of the teachers, which through this plan is our full intent. We wanted to look at things like bringing in mental health care partnerships to the facilities so that we could further serve our community, but to serve them in a new way. The task force also wanted to bring in job training and practicum opportunities into the facilities that may ultimately be vacated. And finally, other ideas that they felt our community could benefit from was having daycare centers or adult care centers in any buildings that we may no longer need to use as schools. After the 4 weeks of dialogue, which actually occurred over 2 months because we met every other week, the group came up with 11 recommendations, which Dr. Basurta will share with you now, and then we will go from there.
Okay, so before I share the recommendations, I want to make a couple of things that are very clear. There are 11 ideas, recommendations, and please do not think, oh my God, we're going to do 11 different changes. In some instances, these recommendations are counter to each other. So to say that all 11 are going to happen, they're not going to happen, because some of them, the ideas go against one another. That's why the recommendations, and that's why we're here to hear your input. It's either have to be one or the other, or none at all. So please understand that as I go through the list, that all 11 are not feasible to do because they're against one another. You'll see what I mean. I'll give you some examples. So here's the recommendations. And the way they were put forth is the task force put down the idea, and then they gave the rationale. The reasoning and the thinking around, hey, we think this is a good idea possibly to consider, and here's why. Okay? Number one, the first idea that came up, and by the way, they're not in any particular order. They're not ranked based on best to worst, nothing like that. They're randomly just put out there, okay? So they're just all random. First one, reconfigure Winston Elementary to a pre-K 5 by moving Gelb, which is Gardendale, over. That's one idea. Their input was maintenance repair costs and keeping the location of Wise open because it's the only elementary school south of 90. So that's why they said location. Number two idea, reconfigure fine arts to a 6th grade to 12th grade. And so you would move the rent students over here. That was another idea that came up. They're talking about the low building capacity here, so maximize the use of the building. And that was the rationale behind that. And then also program alignment, so now you can create your career pattern into the high school. Number three, add pre-K to all elementary campuses. So that one doesn't necessarily involve any buildings, it's just a matter of realigning the program. Okay, so that's the other idea that came up. They were talking about the opportunity to engage the parent in pre-K, and that's why we're able to keep our kids before they go off to another elementary school. So that's where that idea came from. Okay? Next one, reconfigure the IB program at Las Palmas by sending the Cisneros students over. So that was another idea that came up. It was because of the low building capacity, and they both happen to be IB schools. So they're thinking that we put it together, or IBs, and that was the recommendation there. The other idea that came up was reconfigure LBJ and Roosevelt by moving Loma Park over to both schools and bolstering their enrollment. And their rationale was around campus configuration. Okay, that was another idea. Okay. Next one that came up was move Stafford ECC, what we call baby Stafford, the little ones are, and students to Cárdenas, Gallup, and other elementaries. And so the idea was that is because of repair costs, and the low building capacity. Next idea that came up, create new central office building at Fine Arts Academy building and repurpose current central offices. That was another idea that came up. Next, move Henry B. Gonzalez students to Winston and LBJ. That was another idea that came up. Then the next one after that is move Winston elementary students to other elementary schools. Now, let me give you an example of what I mean by counter. You notice, so on one end, one recommendation is bring Galp over to Wise, and another recommendation is send Wise Kid students to another elementary. So you can't do both, it's either one or the other. So that's what I mean by please do not walk away with, 11 changes. No, not necessarily. That's why we're here to hear you, to see which will rise to the top and make more sense based on your input. Okay? All right. Reconfigure Galp as a pre-K school and move first and second grade students to Wise. It's a little bit of a different twist from the first one. Next one is move Burtis and students to Fine Arts Academy. That was another idea that came up. Okay, so I've given you 11 recommendations. In addition to these recommendations, you heard Dr. Miller kind of talk about it. Some topics kept coming up, and we wanted to make sure that we capture the voice of the task force. And these two other topics came up, so we want to capture it. One of the other ideas says, hey, during this process, we're going to have to go back and rethink a transportation plan that makes sense so we can get kids to our schools. So we know that there's a task to be had in this spring, looking at our transportation plan and how we can better make that more effective for our kids and access to the buildings and to the schools. Okay. The other one was continue to frequently monitor and edit safety plans. As you know, safety always comes first. So that kept coming up a lot, so we wanted to make sure we capture that. So yes, we will continue to always look at safety, no matter which schools we leave open or which schools we continue to serve our kids in, they have to be safe, right? And so that's always going to be at the forefront. So we wanted to respect what the task force brought up and we captured it here, okay? Now, what's next? So we're here to gain your input, hear your thoughts around some of these ideas, and see, according to your view, how they make sense, because we may not know all the answers. We just use our best thinking with the information we had. Now, we're going to take feedback, we're going to gather it, make sense of it, and then we're going to go back to the task force to say, okay, these are the recommendations put forward, but now we have to take now this input and rethink some of these recommendations. Okay, so that's what this next process is going to look like. And I got a visual to kind of help you explain it. At the very top is what I just shared. Those are the task force recommendations. Right now, we're in step 2, which is input from community meetings. That's exactly what we're doing right now. We want to hear from you when you think about these ideas, okay? We also did the same thing to district leadership. Is it feasible? Can we do this? I know we put the ideas in front of them, but what would that look like and can we actually make that happen? So there's still some discussion to have. Next, once we gather everything, we're going to bring this back to the task force. And we're going to come back and reconvene and bring this new information and have another conversation around now what makes sense based on what we've learned. After that, it'll then go to the Facilities and Finance Advisory Committee for the final list that will then be presented to the board on November 7th. At said time, it'll be presented to the board for thinking, questions, for sharing out. Then final vote will be November 14th. And so those are kind of the steps, and there's a visual that kind of helps explain what are those next steps. Okay, so I'm going to now pass this on to Dr. Miller, and she will give you the instructions on how we're going to do this session, okay?
So now we'd like to ask those of you who are here tonight to join us in this dialogue and to give us your thoughts. Maybe they've already been captured. Maybe you're very much in support of one of the 11 ideas. Maybe there was something else that's been on your mind that hasn't come up yet. This is your opportunity to help us rethink, redesign, and recommit to the future of Edgewood. So what we're going to do is we've set up 2 mics, one in each of the aisles. We ask anyone in the audience who would allowing everyone who wants to speak the opportunity to speak. When you come up, please get close to the mic so that your voice will project throughout the room. If for any reason you run out of time or you come up with another idea that did not get to be shared, we will have comment cards that you can fill out and turn in, and we will also have a QR code later in the presentation that you can connect to send us any other thoughts. We also have many staff members who are glad to stay here tonight after the open session. So if there's a one-on-one question, or if when you ask we didn't get to answer you fully, or we didn't quite answer what you were trying to find out, we'll be glad to stay around here to answer your questions individually as best we can. We do want to ask everyone to be respectful of everyone in attendance. Reminder, we probably have students here with us, and so we want to behave in the manner that, of course, we expect our students to behave while they're with us. So, just like we did with the task force groups, we're going to open it up in terms of a question. And our question for you is, what ideas do you have for the task force to consider as they help narrow down their recommendations? So again, there's 11 recommendations that are out there. We're welcome to listening to many, many more that we can come back and talk more about and look at against all the data that we've been looking at. But what other ideas do you have, or what things would you like to be sure that is a part of this dialogue? And so at any point, please come up to one of the microphones, and we will do our best if we can address it right now, and Bill. Otherwise, we will certainly make sure that it goes back to the discussions before the process continues. And so I'm going to start over here.
Hello, my name is David Perez. I am a senior here at Fine Arts as well as a member of the team board. One question that I do have for the task force. Actually, the question. Oh, I see. Yes. What is the logistics in bringing the Ren students over to the Fine Arts? A lot of our classrooms are currently being used, and if we bring Ren students over, we also have to bring their teachers over. Will we have enough classrooms to fit their teachers? Do we have enough students? Do we have enough classrooms to fit students? There's a lot of things that are going through my head right now, and for me to be able to accept that there might be Ren students coming over, there might be bonus students coming over, I just want to know that there's space at the Fine Arts, and I'm not entirely sure about that.
Thank you for bringing it up. So much of the work that we did revolved around capacity, and any change that would be made would be dependent upon the school that is receiving having enough space to handle the amount of volume that would be coming over. It also relates to our choice and our innovation in the district. So whereas the idea said Ren students, it really would be an option for middle school students as they choose their pathway that they're going to take for the rest of their education. And so a Ren student may also opt to go to Gus or to go to Brentwood, not only to go over here to the Fine Arts. And then finally, it has to do with the original design of the academy, which was a 6th through 12th grade fine arts school. And the philosophy behind that was to truly develop your skills in fine arts. You need many, many, many years of study. Most of our kids in fine arts start their studies when they're little bitty, still at home. And so it was trying to give kids more opportunities to be engaged in the program. Would there need to be some designations between the middle school students and the high school students? Absolutely. That would be part of the design.
That's perfect. Thank you, ma'am. What I want to add for everyone in the audience, when we started with this process, I want everyone to know we've had challenges in hiring teachers. This is across the state of Texas and probably across the United States. The idea is to retain our staff. We're short bus drivers in other areas. So it's really important. We started this process knowing and understanding with the full support of the superintendent and the board that we will retain our staff. So with the students come the staff, right? And we would, as Dr. Miller-Baker, look at capacity. We know there are also some small classrooms in the building. So all of those things are part of the consideration before any moves are made. That's why we're going through all that pathway. When Dr. Pastor mentioned, can we manage the change? It looks good on paper, but is it feasible? So there's still a lot of things that need to be considered, including everything you just mentioned. So thank you for the question.
I also want to add that we appreciate that it was a student voice that came up. We had that question last time, where are the students in this conversation? And so it's very important that they too have a chance to offer their ideas and their opinions. I'm going to jump over to this side.
Hi, my name is Lisa Owens, and originally I wasn't going to speak because my kids only have about another, 2.5 years, something like that, so we're going to be like, okay, we're done with high school. But one of my concerns is actually something that they were discussing today as I was picking them up and we were going out to lunch, and my niece and nephew also come here to this school, and they were laughing because of the conversations that were happening about how the whole integration of bringing the Ren students into fine arts. They were talking and joking about something that I did not find as a joke. They were questioning, okay, which seniors are going to start dating sixth graders? So that became a real big issue for me, because now there's students that, I know in some homes, some parents have no problem with their sixth graders, seventh graders, eighth graders sucking face with another child, but we're looking at like basically 17, 18-year-old kids now with 11 or 12-year-olds in the same school. How is the school going to be able to manage and keep them separated? And who's going to be responsible for that?
So definitely the district and the campus administrators are responsible for that, and that exact concern came up the first time we had a 6th through 12th grade campus, and that is a very realistic concern. We validate that and we agree with that concern. And the programming needs to be done in such a way that 11 and 12-year-olds are in the appropriate environment for children of that age, whereas the kids who are 17 and 18 approaching adulthood are in an environment that is appropriate for them. And so you would expect, even though they were housed in the same facility, you would expect to see some degree of separation throughout the program. And that would be incumbent on the campus administrators to ensure that no matter what grade level you were getting quality and age-appropriate services. But I thank you for bringing that concern up again. And back over to this side.
My name is Malik Sykes. Some may know me as Prince. I am a student here. I'm in 10th grade, and I've had a concern myself. I'm a new student here, but I have this concern that, okay, I understand that you want to bring Ren elementary students over, but what if those students aren't interested in fine arts and they want to leave and the enrollment starts to decrease even more?
Excellent question. It would be coming as choice. It would be children who are interested in the fine arts or STEAM programming on this campus. So it wouldn't just be a mass exit, oh, you're at RIM now, you'd be at fine arts next year. No, they would make a conscious choice if they want to be a part of this academy, if that option is followed. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Aggie Jaramillo, and I do want to say that I am part of the task force. So, but as a community member, that I was selected by a board member. But I do want to say that I do feel that we're rushing this. I do, and I've said that from the very start. And I don't feel that we had enough parent participation at our task force meetings. But I want to emphasize that right now we're in the process of possibly getting a voucher program in here. And if we do, that means that we're not going to have a choice to baby close some schools. Because when that voucher program, if it comes in, we are going to lose more children, okay? But the other thing I did want to say is that I understand the concerns about the Edgewood Academy, about being a 6 to 12 campus. But specifically, because I worked for Edgewood for 33 years and I retired 12 years ago, specifically this campus was designed as a 6 through 12 program. When Mr. Castellanos basically, implemented this program. And it was working. My daughter graduated as a 6th grader to a 12th grader, but because she had an interest in the arts. And so she was in folklorico, mariachi, and all the above. But it did work because you're not going to have, it can work because you're not going to have the children together. I mean, we have different sections of the campus. There's I think at one point we had DAP here, if I'm not wrong. So we've had other programs here with the Fine Arts Academy. Again, it's not a decision that's been made. But that's one of the recommendations because Ren is already designed as an art school. But those children will have a choice to go, if that happens, to go to the school of their choice. They don't have to come here, right? Okay, thank you.
And thank you. Back to this side.
Hi, my name is Paula George. I'm a freshman here at the Fine Arts Academy, and I'm also part of the team board. My question is, if you are combining Ren and Burleson with Fine Arts, will they be offered the same endorsements as us?
If you were to combine Burleson, it would be a completely separate program that's not centered around the endorsements. The Ren children would be doing the prerequisites in order to move into the endorsements that you're currently working on as a high school student. So they wouldn't necessarily be in the same program you're in right now. They'd be doing the things they needed to do to be prepared to enter that program as a high schooler. Back over.
Hi, yes, my name is Bridget Perez. I just have an idea, I'm not sure if it came up, but I had an idea where maybe there'll be a school that would be just for military ROTC. Some of these kids might benefit from 6 through 12 learning the ROTC, have a better chance in the military than, going to the college. Maybe some don't like to go to college and they want to go to, give them the benefit of joining the military. So that'll be something that you will get more students coming to Edgewood than other schools. Make it different from other districts.
And I think that's what realignment is about, consolidating so you can build whatever program you determine in a strong manner. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Samantha Douglas. I'm a sophomore here at the Fine Arts Academy, and I'm a part of the acting company. My main concern is, will the Ren middle schoolers get along with the fine arts students? Because I know that some of the Ren middle schoolers wouldn't want to do fine arts, and that's my main concern.
Well, I know that the fine arts students are going to be such excellent examples for the middle school kids. No, very valid question. It goes back to the children who come here need to come here because this is where they want to be, and they want to buy into the mission and the philosophy of this Fine Arts Academy. And so, yeah, I would hope that y'all would nurture them and mentor them, but we do want them here because they believe in what we're doing here.
Great questions. I'm thinking about it and hearing the question. So one of the things I want to make sure it's clear, if this recommendation is taken forward, know that there is no way we will be able to put a high school student and a middle school student in the same class. Not gonna happen, because middle school students have to take specific courses that are from middle school. So you're not gonna have a class where you'll see some 10th graders and 7th graders. It's just not gonna happen. PE is for 6th, 7th, and 8th, and it's only for those specific kids. You have a different course code that is a high school course that comes with credit. So you can't have middle and high school. So I just want to make that clear, because those are very good questions you're bringing up. So know that the middle school curriculum is for middle school, therefore they have their own teachers, their own courses, and high school has their own because they're for high school credit. Okay? Thank you for that. Good questions.
Back to this side.
Hi, I'm Belinda Peña, and I was here. I was at the meeting last night, and I was just thinking. My concern is moving Henry B to Winston and LBJ. My grandson, we were supposed to. Our school is Gardendale. They took away Gardendale from all the kids that live close by there. I live real close to Gardendale. I have to come all the way to Henry B. Now they're going to close Henry B. Move us to Winston or LBJ, that is too far. Might as well, all these kids that live around there, we'll just go to charter school. It's far, And then y'all are complaining, y'all losing kids, y'all gonna lose more kids.
So what the task force needs to consider is if you're impacting Gardendale, could you also impact Henry B? Would that be a realistic thing, knowing that there are X number of children within that portion of the community?
Yeah, because y'all are not thinking about all the kids that live right there around Gardendale. Why should we have to go all the way to LBJ or Winston? It's already kind of far, Henry B.
No, I think
and that's what I'm saying.
And I think we understand that there does need to be elementary service within that part of the district. And whether it be one of those schools or the other one, there definitely is that need in that area.
Because remember, the kids get traumatized from going from one school to another school to another school too.
Yes. Thank you.
I have a little person, so I'm gonna hold the microphone.
Hola, mi nombre es Timothy y soy un estudiante de Winston. Lo que me gusta de esa escuela es, mi favorito especial es el arte porque hacemos cosas divertidas y también hay una maestra que nos ayuda mucho, se llama Miss Franco y nos ayuda para que nuestro arte se vea bien. Y también me gusta mi favorita maestra, se llama Miss Ortega, nos ayuda con nuestra tarea y también nos da oportunidades para tener buenos grados. Y también lo que me gusta también de esa escuela es mi directora, se llama Miss Cantú, en las mañanas nos dan abrazos y nos cuida con todo su cariño.
Timothy, ¿estoy pronunciando tu nombre correctamente? Timothy, gracias por tus palabras, gracias por decirnos que Miss Franco y Miss Ortega se están ayudando, tu directora la veo aquí también. Se toma una persona muy grande para estar aquí presente de todas estas personas y tomar el micrófono. Te doy muchas felicitaciones y gracias por estar estudiando con nosotros aquí en el distrito. Gracias.
I know this kind of too serious, she's probably very proud right now. Back over here.
Good evening. My name is Carmela Gallegos. A little bit about me. I bleed Edgewood ISD. I attended both Perales, I attended Brentwood, and I'm a Kennedy Rocket. This is also my 21st year in the Edgewood ISD. I love Edgewood. This is not just our barrio, this is our place. I was looking at everything, the difficult task of all the individuals that have to make difficult decisions about what holds Edgewood's future. I did see the numbers. I saw the numbers for Stafford ECC. I love my principal. I love everybody that we work for. But I would like to share what I believe everyone should hear. A pre-K education is vital to this Edgewood community. Not just an early education, but a Head Start program. Dr. Miller, Head Start all the way. One little sidebar note, when I won Teacher of the Year last year, and thank you for those who voted for me, as I accepted my award, I said the foundation, let's not forget the foundation for our littles. Again, the Head Start brings a world of knowledge to both monolingual and bilingual students. This is what our community needs. We need our students to learn not just your basics of ABCs, it's both ABCs, numbers, social, emotional, especially after our COVID. Many students where everybody was bound down home, and as teachers, we work day and night, not just till 3:30, 3:45, we work day and night to bring that education to our littles. Another thing I did notice about the numbers, but however, our Head Start programs, what's important about our Head Start programs is, if you've been to the campuses, they have developmentally appropriate playgrounds. Their outdoor play is for their height. It's safe. They can learn. They can both learn cognitively. That means they can learn how to walk up and down. We teach them how to hold on. And also, more importantly, they get those social, emotional skills. I got 2 seconds. Let's get this done. Okay, and the playground's physical. And again, the standalone campuses also have cafeteria, classrooms, gyms, developmentally appropriate for our young scholars. One last thing, Head Start students, It builds a foundation. We need those. And not just that, as teachers together, we are all thinking partners because it is solely the mind of the 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds and how we can better them and make them kinder ready for the remainder of Edgewood ISD. Thank you for giving me some time to speak.
Hello, I'm Patricia Karen. There is talks about creating a new central building at the Fine Arts Academy. Does that include moving PD?
The recommendation was that everyone in central office would be housed at one location.
Okay.
But it hasn't been discussed in any more detail than that.
Okay. I like where it's at because it seems like it's more centralized to the entire district. Rather than just moving it. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Back to the side.
How's it going? My name's Will. I want to know, why is it only Ren coming here? I bet you anything parents have children all over at Gus, Brentwood, that would want to put them here with their siblings. I mean, it saves y'all a lot of time.
And they can. When we start to recruit for the next school year, students make the choice. If we go with the option of 6 through 12, then any middle school student can choose to go either that pathway, or they can choose to go one of the pathways with the STEAM over at Brentwood, or with the university program over at Gus Garcia. So yes, I think the slide may not have shown that well, but all students in Edgewood can make that choice of which pathway they want to go. Very good question. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es María Campos. Yo le tengo una pregunta. Han estado diciendo que los niños de REN van a ser movidos para esta escuela. Que estén interesados en lo que son los talleres de arte. Pero ¿qué va a pasar con los que no tienen interés en lo de arte? ¿A dónde se van ellos?
Tenemos otros programas, señora. Tenemos también lo que en STEAM, en Redwood, tenemos Gus García. Para los hombrecitos tenemos también la academia en Cisneros y la academia para las señoritas en Las Palmas, que va del kinder hasta el 8º grado para el próximo año. Así es que todo lo que hemos estado haciendo en los últimos años es para que tengan los estudiantes la habilidad de escoger lo que les gusta, ya sea las bellas artes, ya sea las matemáticas. Es lo que tenemos. Ahorita cualquier estudiante que quiera elegir cualquier secundaria tiene la opción de inscribirse en esa escuela.
¿Puedo hacer otra pregunta?
Claro.
Ok. Y por ejemplo, están las escuelas que usted mencionó, pero hay muchos niños que les gusta también hacer deportes, pero no tienen la suerte de que sus papás tengan como moverlos y que les queda cerca la escuela de REN, les queda cerca para que ellos puedan caminar hacia sus casas, o que otros papás de sus compañeros los lleven. ¿Qué va a pasar con estos niños que ya después van a quedar sin RAI? Y me pueden decir que están los caminos de la escuela. Sí, pero ellos van a estar en horarios de salida, de entrada y de salida, después de escuela.
Y todos esos trámites todavía tenemos que lo primero que usted estuvo con nosotros, ¿verdad? Una de las juntas, porque recuerdo que estuvo, ¿verdad? Entonces, una de las cosas que es súper importante es la transportación. O sea, si los buses vamos a poder movilizar, tenemos que también los que manejan los buses también, si nos pueden dar otras horas. O sea, hay muchos trámites que todavía se tienen que considerar antes de que se muevan con las opciones. Por eso el plan, cuando vamos a ejecutar, tiene que ser más de un año. Es imposible hacer las decisiones, todas las decisiones en un año. Así es que los trámites se van a tener que tardar 2, 3, 4, 5, hasta más años, ¿verdad? Y simplemente por esas cosas, porque hay mucho que considerar.
¿Okay? El cambio de movimiento de la escuela, ¿qué año sería? O sea, para el próximo año ya lo tienen para acá.
No, señora, todavía no se hacen las decisiones finales. O todavía, la mesa directiva todavía no nos ha aprobado todo. ¿Okay? Absolutely. what happens for the students that are interested in athletics, that if they do move from Ren, what happens then, right? And the simple answer, and it's not a simple answer rather, but we've talked a lot about transportation. Those are some of the things that need to be considered. As we make some of these movements, we don't want to take away student choice. So how do we repurpose bus routes and our bus drivers to meet some of that demand when we move students? So all that's part of the questions. She also asked about choice, about middle schoolers. We do have Brentwood Middle School that is a STEAM zone. We have the option, if the Fine Arts Academy were to move here, obviously the students that would want to come here for fine arts. We also have Gus Garcia University School. We also have our Young Ladies Academy at Las Palmas, and that will matriculate K-8 into next year. And our Boys at Cisneros, that will also be K-8 next year. So there are 4 other options besides Ren for our middle school students currently. Did I forget something? What else was there? There was that question. Oh, it's athletics. Right, and for those that want athletics, at Fine Arts we don't currently have athletics, and that's not something that's on the path to change. Thank you. Yes, so thank you very much for that. The other thing, she asked when things would be implemented. We fully expect that this is going to be a multi-year plan. We can't possibly consider all those things happening in 1 year. All those things, all the recommendations cannot possibly happen for so long. Even if they do, we fully expect that it's going to be a 1, 2, 3, up to 5-year plan. We have to move cautiously, we have to move deliberately, and make sure we have the resources to do that. So, thank you for that, sir. Okay. Back over here.
It's all good. There we go. Yeah, sorry. I have 3 questions. So the first one is, before presenting the task force final plan, will it be shared with the community for input as well? Second one is, will there be empty buildings, or will the district have a plan for them? And the third one is that other districts provided a breakdown of how each campus ranked with respect to each criteria and an equity study of how each student group will be impacted. Will we get similar studies done before we make a decision?
Good evening, my name is Philip Chavez, I'm the Deputy Superintendent for the district. Your first question is what, sir?
About will the
Community?
we have community input before the presentation of the final plan for the task force?
So currently, we have a plan after the 3 community meetings to have a 5th task force meeting for them to look at all the community input and then rethink those 11 options and make any adjustments based on the input. The next time after that is going to be at the board workshop on November 7th. That is open to the community, and there's also a public forum for that. We do plan to post these, we'll post all of our pieces at the Rethink, Redesign task force or Rethink, Redesign webpage. Second question.
About potential empty buildings.
Yes, the repurposing, as we call it, of buildings. There's been some considerations, but it wasn't this task force duty to figure out what to do with them. There's a lot of options that are on the table. We have groups from outside that are interested in utilizing the building. There's also the possibility of leasing out the building. And of course, the final piece is sale. But, you know, property, you like to hang on to that property because you never know when the tides turn. Next question.
Equity studies as well as a campus breakdown of how each criteria affected each campus.
Yes, thank you for that. As a matter of fact, there was a slide in there that looked at each campus individually based on what repairs are needed to get that building back into shape. There's also costs for other projects. It could be anything from HVAC to reflooring to preparing the parking lot. And also, they looked at things that we have as current costs. In other words, to keep the lights on, to keep the bills going, keep the water going. Each building has its own cost for that. That's a fixed cost. And on that particular slide, there's also a total at the end. So they're able to look at these by the costs that need to be incurred in order to get the building up to shape, and also yearly costs for building.
Right, thank you. It's just because I was confused on one of the slides, it says aesthetics, and I wasn't sure how you were going to measure that.
That's a good point. We call that curb appeal. If you can see some of our buildings, for example, JFK, John F. Kennedy, had some reformatting of the outside of their curb appeal. Here at the Fine Arts, you probably saw a lot of the outside wraps, as we call them, and also a fresh paint job and things of that nature.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And really quickly before you sit down, on these forms that we gave out, it has a QR code and an email. So feedback and recommendation is very welcome. There's a QR code where you can scan and submit your question, and then you can also email us. We've already received several emails from yesterday's meeting saying, hey, I thought about this. What do you think? I think this would be a better recommendation. So definitely, that's what this is there.
And we're back to your side.
My name is Jordan Rahman. I'm a minor student at the academy. I was asking, another person asked this question, since middle school and high school won't have the same classes, how would they travel? Would have high school have one side, or would middle school have the other side, or would they both travel together?
So your question kind of goes with the question of timeline and the need to make decisions at an early point. We have what's called a master schedule that we do every year. And so once a decision is made and we know what grade levels will be at the campus, then the campus administrators begin to work to establish their master schedule. And that determines the bell schedule, the hours that you're going to run, when you transition from one class to the other, even to the point of where you locate the particular classrooms. And that master schedule usually revolves around how many students you have in each grade level and in each part of your program. And so where we've gotten a lot of feedback of, hey, don't move too quickly, that process is a very long and tedious process that you have to do well to be ready for the first day. And so that would be all worked out. If that recommendations were selected, that would all be worked out during this spring semester. Good question.
You ready? I am. Okay.
Hello.
Hi, my name is Tila Moses. My son is Malik Sai, who attends here as well. And I have two questions. One question is, will there be other programs if you're going to bring another school over to help broaden the horizon of the students, like the dance that is no longer there? That's my first question. And one of my major questions is, if you're going to bring another set of school over, will you have enough teachers to help with the 504 and the IEPs that I believe that a lot of the teachers may need some additional training?
Can I go to the second question first?
Please.
That's been one of the questions across the board is, will all of our teachers have positions? Will we need the same amount of teachers? How will we guarantee that we won't overcrowd our classrooms? Or in this case, won't overcrowd our special education teachers?
That is correct.
And so the number of teachers that move is directly proportionate to the number of students that will be served. Right. And if additional children who need an IEP come over here, then the special ed department is charged with moving additional staff from that department over here. So the good thing is the staff members follow the kids. So that takes care of that part of the problem. The first part of your question was about
programs, like will they offer more programs because they don't have the dance anymore and some of those children may have that, or will they add some more to it?
So this is one of the benefits of consolidating. If you try to run very small schools, there are definitely some advantages, but the disadvantage is you cannot offer as robust of programming as you can at a large school. So ideally, as the school grows, then yes, you would be able to further develop your programs and have some things that maybe you weren't able to do if you only had 300 or 400 students on the campus.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. Back to you, Ms. Olga.
Hi, my name is Amalia Nueva, and I come from Winston Elementary, and I am in 4th grade, and I play sports. My sports are volleyball. My clothes are bonnet and robotics, and my favorite special is art with Miss Wrinkle. Thank you.
And thank you for being in all those programs that we want to be. Back to you.
Yes, hi, good evening. My name is Elizabeth Miguel. I am the art teacher at Roosevelt Elementary. My question is very straightforward. How many students will there be in a classroom? That's my question.
So if we are at the kindergarten through fourth grade level, we will be at 22 to 1 or less. If we are at fifth grade level, we would be at 25. If we are in pre-K, Head Start, we would either be at 17, 20, or regular pre-K, 22. If you are in middle school, you range about 25 to 28.
Thank you. And quick follow-up, what happens if there's a lack of teachers and they have to like merge some classes? Because that has been happening a lot this school year.
And this is a reality of education throughout our country right now, and this is another reason for the need to consolidate, because there are only so many algebra teachers available out there, only so many art teachers, and by getting them on less campuses, we are able to serve more efficiently.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Yadet. Hi, my name is Yadet Villanueva, and I'm a current 7th grader in Brentwood Middle School. And I was a student in Winston Elementary, and both schools are the best schools that I've been to. Thank you.
Thank you. We're glad that you love this school. Back over here.
Hello, I'm Ben Novers. I'm not a good public speaker. I'm one of the board members for Gardendale. My question is, I just feel the need to speak up for most parents that are out here today. With our school, we've noticed my kids have been there for, she started in kindergarten, she's in 2nd grade already. We've noticed that as the little ones get along together, they don't see the older kids, the 4th and 5th graders there. They tend to be more emotionally connected as in their having the whole school area for themselves and having that the attention of the teachers, mostly because the 4th and 5th graders who usually test are not there. Most of the attention is going to their those kids. Yes. Was there any consideration into the emotional part and the social part of the kids when they're asking us to move to Winston?
So what you're describing is exactly the reason that we created Gardendale as a pre-K through 2nd grade campus, because we understand that children in those ages need a different kind of treatment, a different kind of love than the children who are in the older grades. And everything can't be about a test that we're going to take at the end of the year. And there are some foundational skills that have to be in place. And I'm sure my friends over at Stafford ECC are feeling the same way right now, because when you walk into an early childhood campus for 3 and 4-year-olds, it's different than an elementary with pre-K children. But we have to make the hard decision that if we choose to group our kids this way, we can't forget that these are still 3 and 4-year-olds, these are still 1st and 2nd graders, and these other guys are 4th and 5th graders, and each of these children needs to be treated the way that their age is developmentally appropriate, regardless of what school they go to. So, yes, because we went that way for Gardendale, that is a very real concern. I hope that we've learned some really good strategies that can be operated in any school for kids of that age. But yes, thank you for bringing that up, because I know that's a concern, even with the high schoolers talking about the needs of the middle school and the high school. Different kids have different needs, and you have to address that in whatever school. So thank you. You ready?
Hola, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Sofía. Vengo de Gardendale. Y mi escuela es la mejor. Y mi maestra se llama Miss Ivana. Ella me cuida y me sube mis grados. Y mi directora, Miss Haber, ella dice que soy una buena estudiante.
Hi, my name is Melody Herrera. I was at the meeting yesterday, and I just wanted to reiterate some concerns that I've heard, just that are here also again. One thing is about, we don't want to traumatize our students. I feel that this process is too fast. We do need to slow down a little bit. I think it's a lot of information that y'all are throwing at the public right now, and you need to give the public time to digest it, time to get the feedback, and time to listen to it. I understand that our enrollment has been declining for like over 5 years. So I don't understand what is the rush all of a sudden to do this, I mean, by next year. I understand there's 11 suggestions, but I want to know for these suggestions, who's doing the work as far as how much is each item going to save the district by doing one rather than the other. Also, I want to know, have we gotten student feedback from students themselves, asking them what do they want? What do they want to see as they're going to a different grade? Or what's going to entice them to stay in our district and to work hard and motivate them? I think we need to reach out to our students. I know we have a team board, but we need to reach out to the students and to the families. And I think feedback needs to be given at the school level. I think we should be reaching out at the campus level, not just these 3 community meetings. Those are just my suggestions. Another thing, I'm a data person, so I want to know when we can see this presentation. Is it going to be posted on the website? And I like the recommendation of the other guy before me, where I want to see the pure pupil spending. I mean, y'all are giving us numbers, but I want to see the data so that we can understand it better. Thank you.
Thank you. And again, the timeline question is very valid, and the reason why this will be rolled out in phases, and it will be a data-driven decision, but at the end of the day, you look at multiple pieces of data, including affective data as well. Back over.
She's going to speak in Spanish, but we'll translate it out. Buenas tardes a todos, mi nombre es Lady Morales. Tengo un estudiante en la Escuela de Kindergarten en el grado 10. Mi preocupación es el cambio que están haciendo, que va a abrir la secundaria para acá, que es el 6, 7 y 8. Y aquí tenemos 9, 10, 11 y 2, 4. Entonces, no sé qué tantos estudiantes están ahorita, de los 170 o más, y qué tantos estudiantes son los que van a venir.
Gracias por la pregunta. Ahorita sí, son más o menos 270 estudiantes. En Red hay más de 400, pero le voy a exigir que ahorita no hemos hecho una decisión, pero también es cuestión de qué estudiante quiere venir, ¿verdad? Aunque son más de 400 estudiantes en Red, es súper importante que ellos elijan qué carrera o qué les gusta, ¿verdad? Aquí hay teatro, pero tenemos otros programas. Hay otros 4 programas de los cuales los estudiantes pueden elegir. Así es que no todos los estudiantes van a venir para acá. Y también hay la cuestión de capacidad, ¿verdad? Si nada más podemos acomodar 200 estudiantes, esa es otra cosa que se tiene que considerar. No es la intención de que se muevan cada estudiante para acá, sino que tengan la opción de venir. ¿Okay?
Entonces, ¿cada salón tiene la capacidad para 20 o 30 o más?
Depende, porque hay unos salones que están chiquitos, ¿verdad? Con intención. A otros salones como donde bailan que son más grandes. Así que dependiendo del salón se tiene que considerar, ¿verdad? Porque si queremos poner 25 estudiantes por decir, pero es un laboratorio de ciencia, no se puede poner 25 estudiantes si está el cuarto chiquito. Dependiendo del salón, se deben considerar todas esas cosas también.
Y una pregunta más. La cafetería es muy pequeña. Siempre tienen que andar con los estudiantes y no hay tiempo. Uno está afuera comiendo porque así lo hacen. Y como ya son los más pequeños, le dan chance a los pequeños más rápido. Entonces, sí tienen que ver todo eso porque sí es importante que el estudiante tenga su alimentación.
Claro, entonces ahí podemos poner 2 o 3 rotaciones para que los estudiantes tengan amplio tiempo para comer, definitivamente.
Y pienso que todo cambio es bueno y positivo y tenemos que apoyarnos porque
Señora Molina, muchas gracias. Muchas gracias. Yes, so her first question was whether Fine Arts has the capacity to accept all the Ren students. It was the same question we had earlier. No, we don't. In all classrooms, her other question is around classrooms, right? She wants to know how many kids are coming. And all the questions were related. So should the move happen, we talked about choice. It's not about bringing 400 plus students from Ren and just transplanting them into Fine Arts. It's about giving our students choice about where they want to go. We do have 4 different options. We mentioned those earlier, the Young Ladies Academy, the Young Men's Academy, and we have 2 other middle schools in Brentwood and Gus Garcia. So it's about choice. We don't expect to put all the students here. She also asked about the room sizes and whether all the students fit. And obviously, we have some small rooms here. It's an older building. So we're not going to cramp 30 students into a classroom that was originally built for 20 because it was a science lab. So there's a lot of, when we talk about having to go back and explore, there's a lot of things we have to explore. And also she talked about the cafeteria, that it's a small cafeteria and how we would manage that. And there are ways of doing that in the schedule, building out 2 or 3 different periods where some students are at lunch at different portions of the day to make sure we don't overcrowd the cafeteria. She also said that we are united, and no matter what we do, we have to do what's best for the students, and she supports that. So I thank her for that. And we're back over here.
Hi, my name is Mia Moss. I go to Brentwood. I'm in 6th grade. And if we do go here, right, do we have to wear a uniform or we don't?
Very important. And that's important. No, ma'am. Is that all you?
Hello, my name is Patricia Mata, and I have 2 grandchildren attending, one at Las Palmas, Adriana Mata, and then I have one at Royces Neves, Eric. And both campuses, they're excelling, they're doing wonderful, the teachers, everybody's great. But I noticed that one of your suggestions is combining. How would that work out? One's all girl, one's all boys. Can you kind of give a little bit more about that?
So I believe the intent of the recommendation was to still keep the structure of the IB school and to still, I think they were even talking about still segregating the boys from the girls, but to physically locate them on the same campus. Any more from?
And the reality is we haven't even gotten into the details of it because it was just a recommendation, but you're right. And so one of the things we could do is we could just integrate boys and girls together, right? Or the other thought came up was, is there a way, if we were to do this, to keep boys on one side and girls on another? So that was another thought. But to be honest with you, because it hasn't really, rise to the top to say this is what we're going to do, we haven't really detailed all that out. But that's a very good point.
Thank you.
My name's Jason Fonseca. I was actually at the Kennedy meeting last night, and I had another thought when I went home, thinking about my daughter is a student at Las Palmas Elementary, and my 4-year-old will be attending next year. I know Dr. Hernandez, at one of his meetings where he had a town hall, one of your specific comments that came out was you were a single father. You raised a daughter. And one of your biggest things was to bring an all-girl campus, right? So as soon as I saw that integration, I didn't even plan on going to yesterday's meeting. I told my wife, I said, you know what, let's just go. Let's see what they have to say. And it surprised me to see that Las Palmas and Cisneros were going to be affected by this. I understand there's the amount of, the attendance is a big issue. Yes, it is. But one thing that I was thinking about, instead of combining both campuses, have we thought about, I'm hearing it a lot, where are these kids going to go? Some opportunities are, hey, you can come to the fine arts. The choices are going to be given to the students, to the parents. But have we thought about opening, having an open house? I understand, I've come to meetings here where we have the different schools, right? I helped my wife at one of the school drives, the supply drives that we had here, and we had every single campus represented. But maybe open, a big open house at each of the Cisneros and the Las Palmas campuses so that all of the parents can come and see what those schools have to offer for their kids. My daughter was very, very shy when she first, when we first had her in school. We pulled her out of St. John Burschman to bring her over to Las Palmas because we live down the street, one, and it's an all-girls school, right? I'm a girl dad, so to know that I'm sending my daughter to an all-girls school, one thing that we instill in them is be strong, right? That's what everybody's about, right? Empowering your son, your daughter, whatever it is. But I feel like what Las Palmas is doing, I can't speak on Cisneros, but I know what Las Palmas is doing is creating that sisterhood. And keeping them as an all-girls school, I feel is important to me. I'm gonna be honest, we already talked about if this happens, I'm sorry, but eventually we may pull her out. That's just be honest, right? Everybody's talking about, well, we're gonna go to charters, we're gonna do this. I don't wanna do that. I don't wanna do that. I moved from Poteet to come to JFK and I graduated there because I knew there was more opportunities. I was top of my class in Poteet, I was top of my class here. But I knew those opportunities were there for me. So I think just having those ideas, maybe opening up the campuses to let the rest of the parents know who don't have their children at these two campuses. I think keeping them separate is honestly the best thing for both campuses. The boys, I feel, will have that brotherhood. I didn't have that brotherhood, to be honest with you, until I joined sports when I was going into school. I feel like my daughter already has that being in an all-girls school, and I'm sure the boys have that at their campus as well. So those are just some opportunities or ideas that I was thinking about. I'm sure you're gonna hear more from me on Monday, sorry, but.
Just a couple of thoughts. First of all, last night we did invite the people that were there to go home and think about it and come back again, and we extend that same invitation to you. We'll be over at Memorial on Monday. Not everything comes to you when you're sitting here thinking about this. Some of us need to digest it. And so, by all means, you are welcome back here on Monday at Memorial, because if a new idea comes up, we absolutely want to hear it. The second thought, when we went into the process with the task force, there were no parameters. So we had no way of knowing that they were going to come back and say, take the single gender schools and put them together. So now that that idea is out there, we are obligated to explore it further. And then your talk about recruitment, this is one of our big challenges. We have so many fantastic programs in this district that if our community knew about them, there would not be a single person that would walk out of these schools and go to any of these charters around here.
So what are we doing to promote that?
Better of letting them know.
Yes, I think that's where we fail as a district, period. It's like we're not advertising enough what we have to offer for the students and for the community.
And then just one last plea to you personally on behalf of Dr. Munoz that if that decision does come through, I know what a commitment she's made to that school, and please, if it does happen, just give us a chance to show you that that will still be good to your children. But, you know, we understand it's your choice. And thank you for your comments last night and tonight, because they're very on point. Thank you.
And on that note, number one, after last night's meeting, I want to say I have the rare privilege of actually being on a committee similar to this called the School Builder Committee way back in the day that brought us Las Palmas, Roosevelt, Stafford, Cisneros, all of these ones. And my name is Andrew Shelton. I am the lead innovative teacher, newly titled for this year at Winston Elementary. And I will tell you the following thing. I appreciate the options that have been presented to me. Out of the 11 things that I've seen here, there's not just one that says, close Winston. The resources that we have are so finite now, especially with the economy the way it is. And I'm going to let you know some things. Sir, I don't know your name, but the advertising is important. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my campus. Wise Elementary, well, it used to be Winston Elementary, Wise Intermediate School of Excellence, offers STEM programming for grades 3, 4, and 5. During our time when we were opening up another school down the road, offered to pick up those K-1, 2 that we exited out. We lost some students. Winston would love to have those little ones back. We we might have made a small miscalculation, but we offer many things, including community outreach. This year, our community center is open. Winston is not just a school, it's a community center that offers wonderful things with the support of our partner, Tamusa, Texas A&M San Antonio. If you don't know, we have students coming in from Tamusa as a line, coming in to work with our students and our children. We have community programs through the United Way coming to work to empower our parents. Lately, we also have other programs that are coming in to work with our students that are struggling with social and emotional issues, and also with STEM after school as well. My job as innovative teacher is to introduce and get these students on there. I don't even want to get started about the robotics program, okay? Because I love my robotics. But our campus has a lot to offer. And if we're given the chance, bring those kids to my campus. And I've only been in the district for 28 years. I did my student teaching memorial in 1995. I was immediately hired. The community gave me the opportunity to continue my relationship with this district. I have serviced different campuses. The main thing, and our superintendent asked, anything they've asked, I've done. I've stepped up. If they needed a technology instructional coach, I went and got my master's and I became an instructional technology coach. If they needed a coding teacher, I now have the certifications. Now I'm a coding teacher for elementary students at my campus and teaching robotics. Whatever the district asks, our staff, all of our staff is willing to do. And we do care for you. We are here to support you, so please, I know I've been going over my time. Thank you for the tap. I appreciate you. Remember, WISE is there for you. Please come and enjoy our campus.
Thank you, Mr. Stafford. We have two people in line over here, but I do want to offer the opportunity for anyone in the audience who has not come up yet to please take this opportunity to come up. We are going to allow everyone the time that they want. We just want to see where we're at, so we'll know how much longer we will be going, but we will hear everyone. So we're back over here now.
So I have twin boys who recently started at Normal Park, and they are so far loving it. We live down the street. I would not like to see them get moved from that school. Otherwise, like others said, I will be moving them to a charter school.
Thank you for the plug for Lone Park. And that's all this time.
I'm Crystal Gonzalez, my son attends Fine Arts, and I just have one question about the moving central office over here. Does that mean that the kids are going to be moved from here, or does that mean that they're just going to add central office here?
I think the kids would have to move if that opportunity was to come.
So what's going to happen with the kids that are in Cosmo? And that's my main concern, because my son, I moved him from Kennedy High School. No offense to Mr. Juarez. I moved him from Kennedy High School because he was just not doing well in school. And when we found out that they had Cosmo, that was his interest. So now he's a straight A student, because he likes Cosmo.
Yeah.
So that would really affect him.
So that's that whole thing, is if any recommendation is decided or is accepted or put forward, you have to think of what would come after that, and that's the next step of the process.
Yeah, so in that particular case, the programs, if that recommendation came up to the top, the one about moving central office here, programs would then have to be dispersed to either JFK or Memorial. But we would still offer cosmetology. That's not a program we would not get rid of, absolutely not. But that would be the option if that were to happen. But no, it would not go away.
Over here.
Hello, my name is Mary Jane Sanchez. I'd just like to say I am a product of this community of the Edgewood District, and I've lived here all my life. It's really sad to keep seeing the district dwindle. It's really heartbreaking to me. My question is, my grandson is at Ren, and he loves it there because of the arts. That's what he decided. But he's also in athletics. If the decision were to be made that some of the children would come over here, and I'm assuming he would want to because the arts is here, would he still be able to participate in athletics, say with Brentwood or Gus? I know last year when I worked here for a while, some of the high school students did participate in athletics, and I just don't know how they were transported to Kennedy or Memorial to play.
Thank you for that question. We offer students the opportunity to participate in athletics at the schools that offer that. There's a transportation piece that we provide to them after school. Some cases they may not make the athletic period simply because they're in class, but that opportunity for the students.
But they would be able to participate, say, right after school, right? Because I know most of the training is done after school.
All the practice.
Right, there you go. Yes.
Yeah, I was just referring to the athletic
Yes.
period.
Okay.
Thank you,
All right, thank you so much.
Ms. Sullivan?
My name is Laura de Leon, and I've lived in this community for over 60 years. I'm an advocate for the young kids, for the older ones, and for the ones that have a lot of experience. What it is I would like to see the Edgewood District get more involved in trains. The reason that I'm saying that is because over there on the north side, they have a lot of students that are practicing how to be a machinist, plumber, electrician, and all that. And not all the students like to be a scholar. So what it is, when you have trades, you also create entrepreneurs, because the entrepreneurs make more money than anybody that works, I'm not going to degrade this, but more than teachers. and I hope you guys make a lot of money because you deserve it. But yes, entrepreneurs make over $1 million based on the research that they've done through University of Texas and all the way to Washington. So that is a very nice field to create in this neighborhood. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and that is one of the goals of consolidation, to be able to offer as maximum amount of programs as you can. Yes?
Hi, my name is Rick Galvan. I'm with the City Council Office for District 5. I just wanted to say thank you to all those parents and community members here, students as well, for coming and voicing your opinion on this. This is very key, and we know that throughout our area we're seeing a lot of discussions like this across the district, from the southmost portion to the middle, central, and all the way to the far west side of our district. So something I wanted to note is just that at SASD right now, some of the charter schools in the area are already flyering at the community meetings that they're having about their school closures, the right sizing meetings. And so I want to encourage Edgewood to just make sure that we're doing that really good community outreach. I know folks have already described it, but about doing maybe things at the schools themselves, having more open houses in that form or fashion, because other interests are taking notice about these already, and I'm sure y'all know that. But we're seeing it directly to parents already engaging in these conversations, and so it may just be a good idea to keep having this conversation in some form or fashion with parents and other community members. And just on top of that, I wanted to just say, I gotta ask, are these materials also like translated in Spanish, online, and print? Okay, great. And is there an effort to reach out to folks who maybe don't have access to the internet and can't see these materials online? I know there's been voice on this program, so that's really good for
So I'm glad you brought that point up. Our task force member, and it's Ms. Armio, has been very vocal about we need to understand our community, but not everybody wants to get something through Instagram or Facebook, and there still is a need to send things out in paper. And so we are still using that as a method of communication, as well as the voice messenger. And again, thank you for reminding us about the recruitment effort, because we've already had 2 of our parents who are happy with us, but clearly tell us that, you know, we do hear the other people knocking on our doors, and so we hear, we understand. Thank you. Did everybody get the we're gonna
Hi, my name is Karina Contreras. I'm a teacher at Las Palmas, and I just wanted to speak from my experience teaching there. I truly believe in our message about her story, her voice, It is a very beautiful thing to see young ladies find their voice and participate in our school mantra for 40 minutes. You can hear them from the hallways up to the front office. And I just like, including boys, I think it kind of just like devalues our message, right? We want to give young ladies their own space to create their own identity. And I don't really see how it would work, including boys, even just like putting them in the building. But yes, I truly believe in my message. I know that all of our staff does, from our custodians to our admin who work so hard to help these young ladies, find their voice and be included in like their community, in their school, their clubs. It is a beautiful campus to be at and to have it be all girls.
Thank you. Thank you for your commitment to that. And our final comment.
Actually, Logan's right. I went to Simmons Park before it was versus now. Oh, yeah, thank you. I only have two questions. So the first one is about the equity study. It wasn't really answered, and I know that there's a gentleman over there who mentioned about his daughter at Las Palmas, how he would be affected. But something like this would be helpful for the community to target other marginalized communities like SPED students, or maybe even students who are maybe not English or Spanish speakers, but partial speakers as well. And the second question is, what is the district doing about student recruitment, between school choice, vouchers?
So in answer to your equity, when we get down to the point of making final recommendations, the analysis has to include how equitable it is in terms of cost, but also in terms of number of students impact, number of bilingual students impact, even numbers of male versus females, as well as students in special ed. And so all of those special programs have been involved in that. Recruitment, that's another reason that's aligned to this timeline. Normally we start our recruitment in November. We already understand that we have to do a stronger recruitment effort at this point with more new charters coming. And so once we know what our decisions are for next year, I would assume that right around mid-year, you're going to see all of the recruitment efforts, both online, both in public, both out there in the streets like our charter friends do, because we have to get the word out of what we offer here, because it is so much superior than what you can get in most charters anywhere place on.
On the recruitment portion, I will say that we have an amazing family engagement department. It may be small, but they are amazing. They have gone to, you have thinking outside the box. They've gone to church festivals. They've gone to the malls to set it up, to try to see people coming in. Because just like I remember in the charter school, but they were kindergartners there during those time. So our family engagement department has been going out to different venues where we traditionally wouldn't be at to try to get the word out. So we are doing that as well.
I have a clarifying question so that we can, because equity's come up now 2 or 3 times. Define equity for me, please, so that we know how to target those answers through the FAQ, because we've found through this process, equity means different things for a lot of people. For us, we build equity around providing our students choice, our parents choice. We're more targeted with our kids and what's best for our children as opposed to the buildings. We want to take care of our staff, make sure that the children have opportunities. So when we talk about equity, we don't look at it from dollars, although that is extremely important. We need to make sure that we're fiscally responsible and make sure that we provide opportunities for our kiddos. But more importantly, we want to make sure that they're at the place that they want to be, right? So if we're missing the mark with what you're calling equity or other equity conversations around that, I really want to know what mark we're missing so we can get better answers for you.
I think at the very minimum would be a marginalized community like the SPED community. If a student were to transfer from one school to another school, will there be enough teachers to service all of the students?
Thank you. That gives me more focus. Absolutely. I think Dr. Miller-Baker and Dr. Basuta alluded to that earlier. It's about combining resources and moving the resources where the students are. We want to take care of the students first and the resources come with them. So absolutely, and we're actually struggling to find special education teachers right now. So some of these recommendations actually help us bring the resources to the students, where we have some campuses that are fully staffed, others are not. So that's also part of this process to build that equity so that all the students have access to the things that they need.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You make me think of teachers that are sharing campuses in dyslexia, because the numbers are small, teachers go to 2 campuses. Consolidation could potentially have a full-time dyslexia teacher at those campuses that would really benefit that group. We're going to turn it over to our superintendent, but I do want to leave you with the challenge that recruitment starts right now, it starts tonight, and it also starts with all of you. We know you care, we know you're on our side, we know we're in this together, so we ask that you help us get our word out there as we go on this together.
I think I have one slide left, that's it. Okay, so as I close out, I just want to reiterate a couple of things that have already been said, but I want to make sure that you understand what opportunities are still available to speak. And so this is the second of 3 meetings tonight. We'll have our third and final meeting on, at least during this month, on Monday night in Memorial High School. So I would invite you to come if you'd like to come and hear that conversation. Of course, just like Mr. Fonseca had an idea and he brought it back, by all means. And then there's also a QR code that you can use. But we also developed this flow chart so you get a better understanding of what's going to happen next. Again, you will be able to find this online, so you can see it at any time. But from after this, we are going to take the recommendations back to the task force on October 30th. After the October 30th meeting, then there will be a board workshop. That happens every month. That's our typical way of working with our board. We'll have a workshop on the 7th, I believe. You're invited. That is going to be, that's always an open meeting. It'll be at the DCC or the Guerra Center. And then the final recommendation will be brought to the board at the November 14th meeting. And as Dr. Miller reiterated quite a few times, the early in doing that, why we're doing it so early is because obviously there's going to be people affected. Our community, our teachers, but we also believe that this is going to allow us to consolidate resources so we don't have to have teachers that are traveling all over the district. A lot of them are having to travel with boxes and stuff, and it's a lot for them to be doing that over and over. So we're just trying to get our resources in place where we can have a deeper commitment to the programs and resources that we have there, as well as the people that we have. And so I would invite you, if you have ideas, put them in the QR code. I'm only going to bring your focus at this point to this last bullet point here. I want you to know this is just the start of a multi-year conversation. Now, let me clear something. That doesn't mean that for years to come, we're going to have conversations about closing. That's not what I mean. But it is going to allow us to have a conversation about where are we going forward every year. And so when you hear these kinds of meetings, or you hear that there's a task force that needs to be created, by all means, please sign up. And typically we'll go to our schools. If you don't know your principal, get to know your principal. I always tell parents, offer up now. Just say, hey, if there's ever a committee you need help for, I'm your man or I'm your woman. It's important because there were other questions that were brought up last time with regards to facility needs. People like athletics, people like other programs that are thinking long term. And so for me as a superintendent, I work in 3, 5, and 10-year cycles. That's sort of how I'm driven. And I have to do that because obviously I have a financial responsibility to make sure that we are using the money that you give us and that the state is giving us in the most productive way that we can. I can say that all day, but I'll show you because I'm going to like to show and tell. We do a really good job with the money you give us. You know, we've had now over 6 years of consistent superior ratings on our finances. And it's not because we're checking ourselves. I mean, we have our internal systems. But these are independent accounts that come through and run our numbers, check all our finances in the school district. And this is actually just a certificate we just got. We haven't even really shared it with the rest of the community. We're going to start sharing it. But I think it's important you know that the money that was given and that we have in our hands, we use it in the best way and the most creative way, allowably, that we can to help our students. So I want to thank you for coming tonight. Your voice is definitely heard. We're writing everything you're saying down, and of course we're looking for input. But again, you honor us with your presence, you honor us with your voice. It's important that you use that voice. Our community is facing, I speak to people, the recurring theme I get is, you know, it always feels like we haven't been heard over the years. Ever since I've been in it. And I know people that have been here for 50, 60 years, multi-generation families. They're legacy families, as I call them. And so we're trying to do the best that we can to help this situation and have these conversations. So I ask you to help me as we create sound and transparent decisions. We won't get it right because we're not perfect. We won't get everything right. I can tell you that up front, and I'll own it. I'll own those mistakes. But we're going to do that the best way we can. So I hope you'll help us and be part of the process. And with that, I think, Ms. Olga, we're good. Right? Okay, well, that brings our meeting to a close. Thank you. Have a great evening. Dios les bendiga. God bless you. Thank you.
That's okay. That is okay. Maybe you'll have another great thought.
What I like about it is like we get to hear other people's thoughts and concerns.
That's what generates the conversation. That's what drives everything. And Dr. H is still very passionate. So this was strictly any questions or whatever, so we honor everyone's commitment to the work. So it has to be up there. So just like we're listening to everyone here, that's what we're doing.
It's not for sure, but like we did.
None of that stuff is for sure.
And she did Daily Girls. She ran into obviously that's probably but she
That leaders, their leadership.
Yes.
This is how far they appreciate it.
It's like we only have a second grader.
And I'm
Yeah.
Thank you all for speaking.
Yes, ma'am. We'll be here.
I know you will. Thank you, and I know he hears you.
I like that. I think curriculum. I saw curriculum when you were
No.
Everybody making me cry. I'm like, I can't do this. What? And then my teacher.
And you have a lot of support whether you're in the room or not, you have a lot of support.
Everybody believes in what they're doing, and exactly the sisterhood. I always tell people, like, you have to be on campus to know it. Like, you don't, and when people come, and that's not
I have
me,
been in those
that's
hallways
everybody,
hearing that
like, they just
reverberation of the
you just feel, and so.
And I'm pretty sure Cisneros is.
Yeah, and we don't know they have their things, we have ours, but we've had parents from day one that have just seen
nothing's
and
unnoticed.
asked, and it's like, oh my God, I don't know. It's all
I'm like, I gotta back you up.
I know, it's like, so, they'll be there Monday. I'll be there Monday too. I'm going to talk to Brianna's mom too. Grandma's like, I'm glad she came too. Yeah. I'll see you on Monday.
All right.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
and
I was just thinking about like, okay, like after she finishes the program with the last 5 months, where can we continue that? And I had approached SAIC leadership. It does continue practically free. That's like how far plan in advance I plan.
But you know what? I wish our parents were like
No, and that's
and
the
not
one thing
everybody.
I love it. I love it because one of the main things that he says, or he said when we first met him, to the entire people that we met him, was like, what are the parents doing? Like, it's always like that's one thing that that's why we're so involved. My mom was involved when I was little, but it's what are we providing to the district? Why are the parents not? There was a parent last night who was talking about, well, the kids at Ren don't even go to school, or it was either a parent or a teacher said that we're having trouble getting the kids
from the
same apartment. What the hell are the parents doing? I'm sorry, but like, what are the parents?
Actually, I think our last
that has nothing to do with the district.
And it's like, and I feel like, you can feel the anger from, parents, and it's almost like yesterday was like attacking
I felt like, yes.
the staff. And I was telling my husband, it's like, the staff is there to do their job educational. You know what I mean? And, we have a job as parents at home. And I know I understand that all the parents are the same. We don't all come from the same thought process, but I came from, his background is totally different. Family background is different from my family background. And I know as when we were going to have kids, it's like, forget about what happened and
let's start fresh.
How can we do the best job?
Exactly. Like, ya, déjalo en el pasado. Like, ya, ni modo.
I come from a community smaller than this. And I always say this is our community.
Sorry. Okay, I know we grew up with trauma, but damn, like, let it go. I'm sorry.
No, girl, no.
You know, like, ya. Pasó.
So those are some of the challenges because I'm not going to drink anymore. I'm from a little town, Zapata, Texas, little speck of dirt in South Texas.
Muncie.
So you know that if you blink, you might miss it unless you go eat chicken fried steak. So the same thing, you're really rooting in the community, and that's one of the things that keeps me. I've been here 8 years now. And when I came from North Side, I was doing something because I'm an attorney. Like, what are you doing going to the North Side? But I interviewed here, fell in love with me. I don't plan to. I drive 45 minutes every day to get the job. I'm fully vested. But I'm also listening to the district really. And some of the things that so that's some of the stuff that we have in the district also is frustrating because you wasn't able to do the district, but you don't want to do the past. Right? And there's a difference. So yeah, I can appreciate what you just said. I was like, yeah.
Like, am I and and it's just like, and these are conversations that I've had like with my husband and said, okay, we came from a different family background. I come from a different background. What is it that you want when we have kids? Like, how are we gonna move forward from this?
And Annie, we didn't learn anything when we were younger than what was all after.
So, I mean, yes, we grew up here. We brought our daughters here, and it's like one time we got approached from, I don't know who, Express News or something. They did a story on our daughter, I don't know, like she gets approached. Yeah. I don't know, for some reason.
I have seen it, yeah, I know why.
She visited Las Palmas, and they
I saw boys here earlier. Yeah, I saw her earlier.